Ladies and gentlemen, sometimes the stars just align and you find that perfect auction item to make a match made in heaven.
Awesome.
Woo-hoo. We knocked out 40 gallons of Pastalaya, ladies and gentlemen. Y'all stick around and I'll show you how we got it done.
Get down. But HDTV don't mean that much to me, 'cause I got higher definition in my reality.
So we did two 20-gallon pots of Pastalaya. I throw in a little bit of cooking oil here before I heat this pot just to get it coated. And then I throw in 20 pounds of Boston butt pork. From here, I kind of smooth the pork out a little bit so as much meat as possible is touching the pot. And then after letting it sit for a couple minutes, then I kind of start to flip it around. This just allows the meat to release from the pot. And then from here, we just brown it down. This event is the Blue Boot Rodeo in Grand Isle, Louisiana. And Miss Cajun Ninja and I cooked as a team so that we can help feed the community who participated. This young lady came up early on and told me my cinnamon rolls were amazing. She was super sweet, man. So cool. So as you can see here, the pork is really browning down, and now it's about time I add the chicken. So I got 20 pounds of boneless chicken thighs. I seasoned up these chicken thighs with some of that new mild heat Paya seasoning. So I get this tossed around, and I cook the chicken in with the pork for roughly like 10 minutes. Not too long. Chicken doesn't need to cook too long. And then I remove it and then cook down my sausage. And here I had 20 pounds of smoked sausage. The bags I put the sausage in were a little smaller than the pork and chicken, so that's why they were in 2 bags. So now I brown up my sausage for like 10-15 minutes, and then I'll remove this from the pot, and then we'll throw in that trinity. Right here being poured into the drippings, and that grat is 40 diced up yellow onions, 2 whole chopped up stalks of celery, and 20 diced up green bell peppers. So I let that sit for a couple minutes and then begin tossing it around. And you see that color getting pulled from the pot. Man, I tell you, this smell went across the whole island. Once these vegetables are looking soft, I throw in an entire 8.5 ounce can of that mild heat Paya seasoning. I eventually just ripped the bottom off because it was taking forever. But I mean, it is what it is. Next, I throw in 2 jars of 3.75 ounce beef bouillon powder. And for some reason, I only threw 1 in right here, but I later add the other one. Right here, I got an 8 ounce jar of minced garlic, and I don't care what you think. If you don't like the jar garlic, don't use it. But I use it, and people love this. There was no complaints. There was a production crew on site, so I was trying to give them some good looks. If you want to know, this is kind of the look they were getting. But I imagine it looks better on their camera. From here, I threw in a 6 ounce bottle of Poirier's Louisiana style hot sauce. This stuff has a great kick to it, man. I love it. And if some of it happens to splatter back at you and get on your hand, don't let that go to waste. From here, I throw in 2 quarts of heavy cream. Now, I know you guys have seen me do cream of chicken soup, but I've been trying to find a way to do this without having to use a can opener. And I'll tell you what, man. Well, after I pick this up, that heavy cream works really good. So right here you see me adding the first of 6 gallons of water. I don't want to add all the water in right away because I got to put the meat back in, and this can be a little tricky. You know, if you got too much liquid in there, that stuff's going to come splashing out in a hurry. So I try to be very cautious when I do this, maybe even kind of pour it along the side wall, and then I get a good bit of it in there, but I'll actually save a little bit to add on the top for right at the end. Oh, and here's that other jar of beef bouillon powder that I forgot to add earlier. From here, I add 4 4-ounce bottles of browning sauce. And yeah, your Cajun ancestors didn't do this and that. But you know what? Your Cajun ancestors didn't use propane either, so get off your high horse. From here, I add the rest of the 6 gallons of water that I have for this 20-gallon pot. And things were really starting to heat up now. I needed a refreshing beverage. I remember the commercial when every time somebody took a sip, they made it look so satisfying with a big smile on their face. I bet you one of y'all gonna go drink a Coke now, yeah. Alright, so it's time to add the green onions. 20 bunches of green onions. Dump them in and then spread them around. We're letting that heat come to a very low simmer boil. And once we do that, then we add our bow tie pasta. I got 24 pounds of bow tie pasta. I find it's easier if you separate all the pasta into large Ziploc bags. As you can see, it looks like it might be kind of tough here at the end, so you just got to be very cautious and gently spread it throughout the top. From here, I'll slowly take my paddle from the bottom of the pot to the top, and that allows the bow tie pasta to kind of fall into the liquid. It's a little bit of a process here. You got to be patient, but all that pasta will fall into the liquid, and you'll see that you'll have the perfect amount of food for a 20-gallon pot. And I kind of push it down at times. I'll pull the pasta away from the pot. You'll see some of the liquid come up, and it just allows everything to spread evenly and allows the noodles to cook evenly in the pot. And right here at the end, I take the rest of that meat I have and I spread it over the top, kind of gives some extra coverage on top of the pasta. I like doing this because it actually puts a little bit of weight on top of the pasta, making sure that they all get pushed down into the liquid. So I just kind of spread it evenly, cover it up, and let simmer for 20 minutes. Meanwhile, Miss Cajun Ninja is working on that second pot of pastalaya. But don't worry, I'm not going to show you everything. She did take forever to pour this can in, though. Hiya! After 20 minutes, we uncover, and we're going to do our first fluff. But before I do that, it's very important to turn the fire completely off. The residual heat from this pot is going to cook that pasta the rest of the way. From here, you got to be careful. You could lose some meat very easily. Whew, that was a close one. So I continue to fluff the bottom to the top until I got it all mixed in evenly. I cover it up again for about 10 minutes, and then everything is ready to go. Just like that, ladies and gentlemen. So I give it a final stir, and then I usually like to take a taste. I mean, what good chef is trustworthy if they don't eat their own food? And I had the perfect spoon. Yes, indeed. Thank you there, Mr. DJ Rhett. I always knew you would make something meant for pastalaya. And I tell you what, this was a damn good pastalaya. And about an hour later, Miss Cajun Ninja's pot was done too. And this stuff looked almost as good as she does. But that is it, ladies and gentlemen. Pastalaya 101. Hiya! Sometimes I swear I see my wife, but then I really don't see my wife. Oh my gosh, what in the world?